Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday night, which means one thing and one thing only. It is time for the Fantasy Cheat Sheet presented by Going42. Before we get into the show, let's hit the intro. All right, no intro tonight. I've been hitting it like 15 times. All right, let's just get straight into the cast and crew. Jamie, what is up, my man?
Yeah, not much, man. It was a great tight end weekend. I loved your graphic. One of my favorites that you made so far.
I appreciate it. I had to throw it. When I threw the Halloween in the background, it made it even better. Jordan, what is up, my dude?
I'm good, man. I had a good weekend of fantasy. Some good tight ends finally showed up on National Tight Ends Day, so looking forward to next week. Get to talk to you guys.
Reggie, my dude.
Everything's going great. I'm glad National Tight End Week is over with. I found my trigger word or trigger phrase.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. There is a lot to talk about tonight, from spooky injuries to everything else that we do on the show. So let's just get straight into it. First off, let's get right into one of the big pieces of news. Stefon Diggs has a decent start to the game, goes down, looked bad on the field, confirmed today, torn ACL. Just going to throw it right to you, Jamie. What does this mean for the Texans, and what do you think about Stefon for the future?
Well, I wasn't big on Stefon this year, but he did show up, proved that he still could be that guy. He's only on that 1-year deal, right?
Yep.
So who knows what's going to happen next year? Maybe the Texans invite him back, but for now, I mean, that's a big, huge loss, especially with Nico out. I haven't looked. When is Nico coming back?
It's been 3 games, I believe.
Yeah, so, geez, at least he should be coming back soon, hopefully.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, that's going to be definitely helping Tank Dell stocks. So we'll see.
Yeah, and we'll get into another wide receiver at the end of the show of who to pay attention to. But Jordan, what are your thinking about this situation in general too?
Yeah, like Jamie said, the 1-year deal sucks for him. That puts his next season for him in like uncertain territory. Don't know, like I assume it's just an ACL tear and it won't be any other knee ligaments, so that may help him. But it's looking at least about 9-month recovery. Will he be ready to start the year? Who knows next year? And then if he is, how long will it take for him to get back to what he was at this point in the year? So it's going to be rough for him this next year or so overall. And as far as Tank Dell goes, I've been waiting for Tank Dell to step up all year. Nico went down. It didn't really do much for him. Diggs is going down. Hopefully this will do something for him. But I'm worried about him getting the top corners or having that coverage kind of slanted to him. So that may hurt him as well. But overall, I think it's just hurt Stroud tremendously for the next couple of weeks. He had already not lived up to the expectations we had for him. And then to see him lose his top 2 weapons, he's going to struggle for the next couple of weeks.
Reg?
Not much. Everybody pretty much covered it. I think Diggs will probably be back next year, more in the twilight Adam Thielen stage of his career. And he'll probably get a deal somewhere in the range of like something Odell Beckham's getting per year. And we'll see him again, and he'll be probably a best ball player moving forward.
Yeah, he's almost 31 years old right now.
Well, he is that old, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if he can recover from this. Maybe it's the last we see of him.
I don't think it's the last we see of him. I think it is the last we see of him, like as a standout. The 2 quick things I'll bring up. One, I think it's a bummer that him and Godwin both are like doing good, and yes, they both got torn ACLs, but are both at the last year of their deal. You know, Godwin was on his way of earning another contract, kicking butt. Now he gets an injury. Now Stefon is proving that he, he could have been part of the locker room problem in Buffalo, but just saying that, he was starting to step it up, and then he gets hurt. Jordan, I 1,000% agree with you about CJ, and that's why I will bring up the other thing.
Godwin's like 2 years younger, and Godwin's was dislocated ankle, right? Yes.
Yeah, it was an ankle, but he's out for the year, and last year the deal. My bad, on the ACL. But to the point of CJ Stroud having a bad, decline, give me Joe Mixon, and give me some more Joe Mixon, because he's already getting the load, and I think this is going to be more. He's going to get more of the workload, more of the share. Like, I think he's going to be more involved in the passing game now, because you only have, you don't have very many weapons on the outside. Yes, you got Dalton Schultz, who should be a target monster. I don't know why he hasn't been. I think Mixon is part of that equation. All right, so that was the big piece of news this morning when it came to injuries. Then later in the afternoon, I think it was afternoon or mid-morning afternoon for me on the West Coast, a trade goes down. And there is a player, and yes, I'm going to throw it straight to you first, Mr. Jordan, because there is a guy on this panel, Jordan, that talked crud about a player partially because where he was located in what team he was going to. Because Carolina Panthers are not going to be able to support Deontay Johnson, even though Deontay Johnson's a great talent. Well, Deontay Johnson is no longer a Carolina Panther. Now he goes to freaking Baltimore, where they don't throw the ball, and they got Zay, and they got Bateman, and they got Mark Andrews, and they got Nelson Aguilar, who's actually getting targets, and they got Derrick Henry. So, Jordan, I'm going to throw it to you. Does this change Deontay, or does this just change the Super Bowl aspirations of the Baltimore Ravens?
I think it changes Deontay, but not in a good way. You have to kind of downgrade him a little bit. And then also, but I think it helps Lamar having another target he can rely on. Bateman has been good this season, but obviously they wanted to shore that up even more. So I like the move for them from a real football standpoint. But as far as fantasy goes, I think it kind of it may help Zay. I'm not exactly sure yet. But anytime there's a guy who has some talent, you got to kind of wait and see how it pans out. I feel like he's proven himself to be Lamar's guy so far this season. He's made plays when they've asked him to, but they wouldn't have went out and made a trade for a guy like this if they didn't have some reservations in some areas. I'm just looking to see what happens. I'm not ready to dump Deontay if I have him. I just want to see how it looks. But I'm not really panicking if I have Zay either. So I just want to see. I think their offense overall is just going to be better in the passing game.
Reggie, what do you think overall, my man?
I think this hurts opposing defenders. How is this team going to be stopped? They're able. With Flowers and Deontay Johnson, they don't do exactly the same thing. Maybe they can make Flowers even more versatile with more deep stuff. This helps this team offensively because they're going to be in shootouts because their defense cannot break wet toilet paper. The other side, there's a part. This doesn't just only hurt opposing defenders. This hurts competitors because guess what? Deontay Johnson is not on their roster. They out here playing chess. Everybody else playing checkers.
All right, Jamie, question for you. Besides the overall outlook of Deontay, I have to ask you about one player. You asked me to throw the position on the graphic, so you know who I'm going to ask you about. Mark Andrews, go.
I don't think it affects Mark Andrews at all. What it does affect is Rashad Bateman, because that's the position Deontay is going to be taking over. We saw Bateman. Bateman was going into this week was wide receiver 26 or 27. Now he's wide receiver 31. He had a ball bounce right off of his face mask. So that would have still brought him back up into like the top 24. So I think Deontay, man, he's going to at least see 4, 5, 6 targets every week. And that's more than he was seeing with Bryce Young. I believe the first 2 weeks he only had 3 or 4 targets combined. And then last week he only had 3 targets with Bryce Young.
Stop proving Jordan right. He's literally giggling right now.
Yeah. So, but like, we got to remember when Deontay played with Dalton, Deontay, like, he was a dog. He was getting those top targets. But
Right.
yeah, no, this helps my Deontay shares, I believe, since they're starting Bryce Young now, and it's going to hurt your Bateman shares, but who really had him anyway?
All right, I have a rant I have to go on. Jamie's already
Before you go on that rant, the ball bouncing off of Bateman's face mask the same exact thing could happen to Deontay Johnson with his hands as well. So
nickname. Hey, I called him Deontay Dropson for 2 straight years. All right, so here's my rant, and Jamie I've already messed not in audio, but in text. Jamie's kind of already heard this rant. I saw that he got traded, and I was like, good. He got away from Carolina. Like, he's going to go to because if he was going to get traded, he was going to go to a contender. Mm-hmm. So I was like, sweet. Then I saw it was Baltimore, and I went, for NFL, I love this. For what I'm about to bring up, I am screwed. So I'm in 80. Okay, Jamie's in 100. For anyone that wants to know, Jamie's in 150th out of 3,996. I'm in 81st in Scott Fishbowl. Jamie's in 150. Here's where the problem lies. I'm screwed now because my team is Lamar Jackson. Part of the core of my team was Lamar, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers, and Deontay. So now I've lost the ceiling for both Zay and Deontay in SFB because it's a ceiling kind of league. I've lost the ceiling for both players because the day that these guys aren't going to be able to put up freaking 30 burgers in the same game. Yes, it helps Lamar. It helps Lamar great. But both these guys aren't going to be able to put up 30 burgers. So now I got to be careful when I play freaking Deontay, because I think Deontay is going to be the one that's going to score less. Yes. And I was going to bring that up. And now I got another player on week 14 bye. So now I got another player on week 14 bye. I got two guys taking the ceiling from each other. There's weeks that I'm looking at that I might not play Deontay or whatever because I have some return. Because for people that don't know, Scott Fishbowl this year, the points for return yards is crazy. And if you can pick the right guy the one week, you're going to be good. Please do it again, Xavier Gibson. I'm begging you. I had him on the bench, but he scored me I would have had 28. So that's what I think. But overall, NFL, I love it. Fantasy, I think it's going to hinder the big pieces. I agree with you guys about Bateman and Aguilar, and I'll bring up Aguilar. Aguilar's an odd man out too, even though, I don't know how he's even playing what he is now. So there's another piece of news that needs to get brought up. However, we're going to bring it up briefly because it will be brought up again later in the show. Anthony Richardson is now the backup quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Quick around the horn. What wide receiver does this benefit the most? And I know where Jamie's going to go first. Go, Jamie.
It helps Downs, man.
Oh, I was shocked.
Yeah, no, when Anthony Richardson was in, Downs was only getting 1 to 3 targets a game with Flacco. Dude's like a top 25 receiver. Right. I know you're probably thinking I was going somewhere else with that, but no, I give Downs.
See. Well, I'll bring that person up later anyway.
I'm Downs, 100%. That's what I want. I dropped him when Anthony Richardson in a couple of leagues when Anthony Richardson came back, but I got to go try and pick him up again because he's gonna eat.
I want some Pittman to start doing something and be playable. I think Downs floor or we playing as a flex, I can deal with what he get, but Pittman, I need to play him in my wide receiver spot, and I need more out of him. So hopefully it helps Pittman.
All right, so Joey boy, I will get to your question
Yes, give
in
us
a
a
little
second.
bit.
That's a good one.
Well, there's a major there. I need to bring that up at a certain spot for a major reason that you don't even know about, Jamie. So I'm going to bring this one up real quick before we get into Monday Night Football. Should I try to trade up with Deontay Johnson or hold on to him?
I mean, like everything, I guess it depends on what you're trying to get. If it's somebody who, I mean, a lot of guys are hurt right now, so I don't even know what that trade up would look like. But if you don't think it's a big upgrade, then I would just hold on to him just to see.
Yeah, I would try to trade him depending on who you're trading him for. So if you put that at, like, what are your options? Are you looking for a running back? You're looking for like an upgrade at receiver?
I think the way I read it, I was reading it as an upgrade.
At receiver, yeah.
Then like who do you have the package with Deontay to move up?
Yeah, it all depends. I would personally wait and see if he can have a week and then move it. But like you said, if that could backfire at the same time.
Yeah, because he's coming off of bad performances.
Yeah.
Also, the valuable thing that he just spoke about, week 14 bye. And I think in the fishbowl, they have two playoffs is 2 weeks, right? Is that when it's earlier too?
Week 14 is the first week of bye because there's so many teams in the Scott. That's why, but they give you the average. The way he does it is he gives you the average that you've been playing, so the 14 bye doesn't kill you as much because there's 6 teams on that week, not 4.
Got you.
So he figures that out. All right,
because I was about to say,
yeah. Ooh. All right, so for Monday Night Football, we'll throw it around real quick because there's a lot to get to in tonight's show. And the other reason we're going to throw it around quickly is because it was not a great game, at least in the first half. 26-18, Pittsburgh wins. There's a couple big things I will bring up. I'm going to throw it around the horn, but I don't want to bring up a couple of the big things because I have a feeling they're going to get brought up. If they don't get brought up, I will at the end, just overall. Jamie, what is the takeaway you have from the game, sir?
I mean, just that Najee looked good. He had over 100 yards, 6 yards per carry. That was awesome. But on the other hand, Pickens, that dude should have had way more fantasy points than he had. He only had 5 targets. He caught 4 of them. That's just ridiculous with this matchup. Deontay Banks, that dude allows the most fantasy points per route to receivers.
Stop.
So, and he also allows like a 70.8% catch rate. So, like,
I have to stop you right there.
Target him.
Sorry, I have to stop you right there. You do realize that Deontay Banks got pulled in the second quarter and didn't play the entire second half against him.
Oh, then he should have had even more points, more targets. Because if that was their number one,
they pulled him. They benched him in the second quarter, and he didn't play after that. Jordan, what is your takeaway?
Last night showed me that it's officially Tyrone Tracy's job. 20 carries for him, 2 for Singletary. Compared to last week, it was 6 and 5. Even though that was a blowout, they were down big. But yeah, and he looked good with the opportunities. Obviously, Pittsburgh is a good defense. He broke the long run, got a touchdown out of it. He's good in the passing game. It's his job to lose now. If he gets hurt, obviously Singletary may get a chance again, but as of now, they believe in him, and I appreciate Brian Daboll for actually just staying with the guy who's better.
Reg,
I would just suggest whoever in fantasy has Danny Dimes, go try to get Drew Lock.
Yeah, Jamie, you listening?
Yeah, Jamie, that's what I was going to bring up. Jamie,
you listening?
You listening, Jamie?
What is Danny Dimes on the season right now?
Hold on, I have it right here. I have it up.
Okay.
And Devin Singletary might be back for one more week too, because controversy about Tracy.
22.
He's at fantasy. Okay, he's 22, but fantasy points per game because of buys and everything.
He's 27.
28.
Oh
man. So yeah, that's right around where he should be, because then when he's top 5 next week and the week after, he'll get right back to that 15.
Jordan, we're gonna have to name an award after him and not Brissett anymore.
All right. Yes, Tracy does have the concussion, but it's still like
overall, he's gonna. Overall, this job's his as soon as he gets back.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway is, if you're in a league with defenses, stream whoever's playing the goddamn Giants. That's number one. Number two, Tomlin's getting lucky. And no. I don't mean his decision I don't mean he's getting lucky as a coach. If this Russell Wilson would have backfired on him, the media, Pittsburgh fans, he would have got jumped down. I'm saying he's getting lucky in the sense that Russell is doing enough to win the teams that they're playing against. They beat the Cowboys. They beat the Giants. As long as Russell is doing decent, this team will do good because of the fact that he is taking the load off of Justin Fields. Needed the ball, needed to run the ball, right? I forget the percentage, but Najee's usage went up like 13%. Warren got the ball. Yeah, he was out. I understand that. He was injured. Jamie, you brought up the fact that George Pickens should have had more targets than 5. I don't disagree with you, but I do disagree with you, and here's why. The penalties costed him 2 freaking touchdowns.
Yep.
He didn't need to have more targets. He just would have had 12 points if the freaking offense didn't have holding and all that crap. So my main takeaway is that Steelers are good, and I'm going to regret it because no one's in the house when I can say it. I have a bet right now. Ponytail, not my ponytail because I can't grow a ponytail. Ponytail for beard bet. I have a ponytail for the beard bet with a Steelers fan who has a podcast. So we will see what happens with that. Reggie's shaking his head like something's wrong. What's wrong, Reg?
We can't give Russell Wilson all his credit. He is still him as of what he's shown us. That's like saying Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr. Like, Justin Fields got this team off to a great start.
No, I agree.
And if you take him out and put Russell Wilson in, I want to see Justin Fields with this team now, with Warren, with Najee, them firing on a lot more of a cohesiveness than just to say it's all Russell Wilson. Visually, I get you. I'm not saying
it's all Russ. What I'm saying is the play calling, because of Russ compared to Justin, they were giving more rushing. Some of the rushing that was going to Najee now was going to Justin.
True.
Even Arthur Horrible Smith said that. And we can't trust him if our life depended on it.
And that's possibly easier to defend. But it's the team is looking better as a whole.
The team is looking good, and it drives me nuts. All right. So it is time for Real or Fake. All right, Jamie. Let me make sure I'm teeing you up for the right person. All right. How is this guy real, even though he lost his top 2 wide receivers?
So that's the thing. That's why I put him as my real, because I was hesitant about Baker Mayfield going into this week and moving forward because he lost his 2 top weapons, right?
Yep.
But he showed us that that's not an issue. Like, he was still quarterback 6 on the week. Yeah, it's a small step back from his he was like quarterback 2 or 3 finishes all year. But I'll take it, like top 6 quarterback. I believe his ECR ranking going into this week was quarterback 16. So nobody really seen this coming. I don't know his highest ranking, but his average was at 16. But for the rest of the season, like, he has tons of green plus matchups. Like, week 10 and week 15 are his only tough matchups going against the 49ers and the Chargers. So I'm expecting more top 5, top 10 finishes from Baker, even without Godwin all year. Evans should be back after week 11 bye. So hopefully week 12 we see him. So I think he's going to help tons of people win championships, and that's why he's a real player to me.
Reggie, what do you think about Baker?
I love it. It's fun football to watch. He's exciting, and he lets it all hang out. It reminds me of a younger Brett Favre, but we ain't gonna go there. Yeah, no, I think it's real. I think it's here to stay. He ain't got nothing to lose, nothing to prove. He's playing free, and it's fun to watch.
I mean, only if the Browns had a quarterback like that, right?
Jordan?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's real. The thing that I was impressed with is that he did it a different way. Earlier this season, he relied on the receivers big time. This week, Cade Otton, the running backs, they all chipped in. We all ran to pick up McMillan, Trey Palmer. They didn't do much, but he still was able to kind of make it happen with Bucky Irving, Rashad White, and then Cade Otton kind of finishing it off. So he's finding different ways to do it. So it seems like he's matchup proof almost at this point.
All right, Jamie. Another quarterback in the NFC South is your fake, and it's not Bryce Young.
No.
So who is it?
Yeah, it was the guy that Baker faced, like Kirk Cousins. Like, what? No, you're asking, like, why is this guy a fake if he just threw 4 touchdowns? I think it was the second time this year, but it was against the same team. Every other week he was scoring like 9 points, 12 points, 8 points. I think his highest, he had like a 17-point game one week. So, no, he's not going to play the Bucs every week to get you 4 touchdowns. He either scores 0 or 1 in his other games that he played. I just think even like he has pretty good matchups like most of the season, and he still didn't put up points. So it's not even like a matchup thing with him, and that's why I think he's a fake.
Jordan.
I agree, man. Looking at his numbers is definitely a fake. I mean, if a guy has 2 great games all year and it's against the same team, then you play 14 other teams. So, it's just it's a fake. I wanted to buy in long term for him after the slow start. I thought he just needed to get healthier. Then after the first Tampa Bay game, I thought, well, he's healthy now. Then he had an easy matchup against Carolina, 12 points. Then he played Seattle, who had gotten lit up, 9 points. So, yeah, you can't really trust him.
All right, so I want to bring something up real quick just to actually prove Jamie right, not to prove Jamie wrong, which is usually my motive in the show is to prove Jamie wrong in a fun way, but that's not what I'm trying to do right now. So oh wait, that's not what I want. All right, never mind. I'm not going to be able to do what I thought I was going to be able to do. All right, so Reggie and Jamie know more about what I'm going to talk about, but Jordan, you don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't brought it up to you. But I want your insight as well. So, yes, I do agree that he is a fake. But this matters to me more than just him being a fake. Because for the past week and a half, I have a fantasy team that I took over as an orphan and I'm trying to kind of blow up in Dynasty. One of my quarterbacks was Kirk Cousins. And I had guys hitting me up about Kirk Cousins. I had guys hitting me up about Tony Pollard, a couple other guys that I'll bring up later in the show. That's one of the reasons I didn't want to bring it up in the bring up the trades yet. There's a trade that I don't want to bring up yet. A couple of guys wanted to put all 4 together, whatever. I didn't make a trade for Cousins before Sunday. Offer came in yesterday. Then he pulled the offer. And instead of sending me 2 or 3 different offers, this is a guy that'll send an offer, pull it 10 minutes, send a new offer that he rethought of, pull it, send a new offer that he rethought of, instead of just sending me 2 or 3 different offers and going from there. Well, I accepted a trade without hitting up Reggie, Jamie, or my other buddy that I've been contacting about these trades. And it was Tony Pollard and Kirk Cousins. I got a 25 first and a 25 25-second out of it in a rebuild. Kirk Cousins and Pollard for a 25-1 and a 25-2, and they're going to be mids for both more than likely. I did it because this guy literally said the exact opposite of what we're all saying on air. He said, Kirk Cousins is for real. He threw 4 touchdowns. And I said, well, then I'll take a first. And he goes, I'll give you a first and a second for both of them. And I said, all right, hand it over. So, yes, I think it is a freaking fake. Mm-hmm. But his performance got me the trade, baby.
Dude, if that's a mid first, you could have traded Cousins. Yeah, like you could have traded Cousins and Pollard for that mid first. Honestly, like 2 seconds for those 2 players would have been a good trade.
Yeah, and I got a first.
Bravo, man.
And
that's awesome.
Another trade in that same league will be brought up later on another Jamie topic.
Yes.
So, Jordan. Oh. Okay, I have to preface by saying something on this. And there's a reason me and Jamie are on this topic. This caused a legit fight behind the scenes. Not a fake fight. A legit fight. So
it was a joke, dude.
No, but it was a joke, but my take will also prove why.
So
go ahead, Jordan.
So when I went into the sheet, I saw this was already next to my name. So I was like, I'll roll with it. I think it's, can be something. I figured Jamie probably put that. But no, Jameis Winston, man. I think he's real. Probably mostly because, the Ravens defense, like we talked about, sucks. He lit them up. I think the team wanted a change, obviously, from the previous quarterback sucking. So, Jameis came in. Jameis can put up numbers. We all know that. He's done it in every opportunity he's had. He limited the turnovers this Sunday. So, I think in leagues where people need maybe a bye week fill-in or in super flex leagues, he's somebody that you can use consistently. They're going to throw. He has weapons. All the things that we thought the Browns could be from a receiving standpoint, minus Amari Cooper. At the beginning of the year, Jameis showed that. It came to fruition this Sunday. So harder matchups will come. He won't have 300 whatever yards and 3 touchdowns every week. But I definitely think he's somebody that you are going to be able to count on a given week if you need somebody, mostly in 2 quarterback leagues and superflex leagues. But yeah, I think his performance was real.
All right, before I let Jamie go, I found the stat that I wanted to bring up about Kirk Cousins real quick, just to prove Jamie right. 8.2, 17.5, 12.1, 8.5, 12.5, 10.2. Those are the scores for all the weeks that he did not play Tampa Bay.
Right.
35.4 and 28.6. So he had 1 week that was over 17. The rest of them were under 13 besides those 2 weeks. So that proves that it's a Buccaneer thing, not a Cousins thing. Now, Jamie, go ahead. I'm letting you have the floor.
All right. So Winston, yeah, he had an awesome game, right? That's because Baltimore, they can't be ran on. You have to throw the ball on them, right?
Okay.
Next matchup against the Chargers. That's a game you can't really throw on. So I'm going to admit I did start Jameis Winston in a single quarterback league as my quarterback, and I was happy about it. But I'm not happy about starting him this week, and then he has a week 10 bye. And then, of course, I'm going to start him against the Saints. But after that, it's like Pittsburgh, Denver, and Pittsburgh again, which are pretty tough matchups. But considering, that's 3 matchups, I think you can start him in a super flex. Like Jordan was saying, he is going to be reliable where he can throw 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and yeah, he may have 3 interceptions, but I mean, that's still going to give you fantasy points, right? So yeah, no, I love Jameis going forward. I like him more for real football, and I'm more excited for him as the Brown starter than I am as putting him in my lineups. But yeah, no, even in a tough matchup, if I have to, I guess I'll start him as a super flex.
Jamie, what side do you think I'm taking on this? Fake or real?
I think you're gonna go fake.
Yeah.
Just because it's Jameis Winston, man. Like
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Oh, okay.
But here's why. Here's why. Because the team, and I am going to actually make you feel really good and warm and fuzzy on the inside right now, Jamie.
Yes.
This city of Cleveland needs Jameis Winston more than Jameis Winston needs the city of Cleveland right now. For football reasons, they needed Deshaun Watson out of the center, behind center. Yes, he got injured. I get that. But what I'm saying is he had had such a bad year that there was nothing coming back from it. Where Jameis coming in behind center, being the gunslinger that he is, the Brett Favre type, the Baker Mayfield type, like you said, Jamie, he'll throw for 300, 3 touchdowns and 3 picks, but he'll still give you the 3 touchdowns. My point is, I think this is good. I think this is going to continue. Yes, you're going to have the weeks that he's going to end up being QB 20 because it's a bad matchup where he threw for 200 yards and 4 INTs and only 1 touchdown, and Chubb's going to get a touchdown here or there. But overall, for this offense and for the future of the weapons, which we'll talk about a little bit too, I do think this is real. The question is, how high can he be? But I also do mean this is more real for real football than fantasy, but overall, this is good in general. So, Jordan, who is your fake?
The guy who took some of that shine from George Pickens last night, and that's Calvin Austin. This guy, I think he had 4 targets, if I'm not mistaken, or 5 targets and 4 catches. I'm pulling it up. No, he had 4 targets, 3 catches, got a long touchdown. So he ended up with 54 yards. Finished in like the top 25 for receivers this week, but he played, I think, around 62% of snaps. Last week he played similar snap count, had 4 targets, also had 3 catches last week and for 19 yards. So he's a big play guy. Obviously, that's what you sign up for when you get a boom or bust guy like that. But I just don't think, even as I guess the second target in that offense, I don't think it's reliable because there isn't a set second guy behind Pickens. So last night, Van Jefferson actually had more targets and more yards, but didn't score the touchdown, so he ended up with less fantasy points. So yeah, I don't want anything to do with Calvin Austin just because it's just boom bust. You can't trust it moving forward.
All right. Why am I doing this tonight? I have to give Jamie some more kudos. Real quick, because I wasn't going to bring it up, but you brought it up, Jordan. Scott Fishbowl, 4:05 in the afternoon. In one of my flex positions, I get told that Rico Dowdle is not playing. I have no one else that is going. I don't have anyone that's going, and I have one spot that I can drop someone. And I'm like, all right, I can drop this guy and feel comfortable. So I was debating, do I pick up Jacob Cowing? Garendo is already gone. Do I pick up Jacob Cowing? Do I pick up Ronnie Bell? Do I pick up freaking Darnell Washington? The guy next to me told me to pick up Van Jefferson.
Yep.
And even though he didn't get a TD, he still got me points in SFB because you get the catch, you get the yards, and he got me 2 first downs, and that's points in Scott Fishbowl as well. So
and kick return yards.
Yeah,
right?
but that was more Austin than if it was Austin, I would be golden. But Austin was already. But in that league, Austin's already taken purely on the return yards. I mean, I got 3 returners that don't play. I mean, I got Xavier Gibson on my roster. That's all I need to say. When it comes to Calvin Austin, great punt return and all, but 100,000, 2 million to infinity and beyond Jordan, you were right. This is fake as fake can be. There is no WR2 on this team. It could be Pat Fryermuth one week. It could be Darnell Washington one week. It could be freaking this guy one week. It could be Van Jefferson the next week. And then by that time, we're into the fantasy football playoffs and we need another performance. 100%.
Step in real quick. It should be Roman Wilson. That dude is a dog.
He's on IR now.
Yeah. Why? It's stupid.
I don't know. I agree with you, but I understand. I'll give you free reign later. Another show for that.
Okay.
Reggie, take it away about is Calvin Austin fake or real?
I think we all nailed it. I was going to say, I think I had him as a buy earlier this year, and the moment I actually gave up on him is the moment he was playable. But you'll never feel good about playing him, so relieve yourself of the stress. And if somebody will buy him, take him. But I don't want that kind of volatile player on my roster because I'm never going to play him when he hits. So I don't want to play that game.
Yep, exactly. So Reggie. Oh, no. So I'm going to preface by saying I have to, because I'm not on this one, so I'm just going to say it real quick. Yeah, am I not on this one? Yeah, I'm not on this one. But I did write this guy in my article as this quarterback as a 1 QB start of the week. I can't believe it panned out. Take it away, Reg.
Well, the honest thing is, it was an industry plat on Jameis Winston because I'm pretty sure I wrote that in because when I came and looked, I was like, I could have swore I put one in last night. I guess I didn't. I'm finna go with Bo Nix, but I'm pretty sure I'm the one.
The wrong name.
Any ring a bell to you said you didn't put. I was like, oh, I did put one in last night. But yeah, Bo Nix is just as good to go with. What he's able to do and where you were able to get him this year in rookie drafts as far as dynasty goes, 1 QBs. He was on your waivers a couple of weeks ago, and he's putting up these numbers that's far more serviceable than bigger names than him. And not only that, who is he doing it with? So I think you're going to get a couple of good years out of Bo Nix because the Denver Broncos can't do much more to surround him with more weapons because they're playing the starting quarterback on the Steelers. So this guy, if you're able to get him, which I don't know if that's possible, is ranked higher than a lot of other quarterbacks that we love. And he's giving you the Russian. Jared Goff with legs. How about that? Come on.
All right. So
go
ahead, Jordan.
I had you almost.
I was hesitant on Bo Nix before the season, man. I had to see it, and he's proven it. He's besides Jaden, I mean, he's been more consistent than Caleb. So I think he's proven himself. He's a real. I'm finally on board with it, man. Now I'm gonna go pick him up in the league and try to start him, and then he's gonna suck. But that's just how it goes with rookie quarterbacks. But as of now, he showed some signs. Sean Payton is working his magic with him, and they're starting to get it in gear, man. I definitely think he's a real.
Before you go, Jamie, Tyler, we will get to your question in just a few minutes. All right, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, so we all saw what Jameis Winston did against Baltimore. Now Bo Nix has Baltimore this week, so wheels up for him. Nix, he was my start of the week too, Mike. On the RPO show last week, I told everyone to pick him up, start him, even in single quarterback leagues, because he was facing the Panthers. They allowed the third most touchdowns to quarterbacks. They gave up 3. One thing I do love about Nix is his rushing upside. He didn't even need to use it this week, and he was still put up 30 points. So, yeah, wheels up for Nix, man. I love him. I wish I drafted more of them.
All right, Reggie. I don't know where you're going with this one, but seeing this guy on the show sheet under this name, under the fake, hurts my soul, and I don't even know why yet. Go ahead.
It's probably a constant because we get faked and he get hyper target when Higgins isn't out. We're going, don't fall for the Mike Gesicki hike. If he's on waivers, leave him there. I guess you can pick him up to fill a hole during bye weeks. But it was the damn tight end week, day of the week, or whatever it was.
National holiday.
national holiday that's the only thing that is triggering to me. I see it on social media. It's National Sister Day, National Brother Day, and these are self-created things. And even we know that this was created several years ago by just kidding on the sidelines. So it's just like it's become this magnificent thing, but it's hyper focused on, and the belts that they gave out at the Niner games was like, it seems such last minute, but they invested so much into blowing this thing up. I almost wanted to hear more about Taylor Swift. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't.
Okay, before we go into anyone's take, I got to say one thing about this. Actually, Jamie, we're going to switch the order. I'm going first on this. Okay, because I have a bone to pick with you. Saying you want to hear more about Taylor Swift is goddamn criminal, and that should be my rant of the week. Okay, here's the thing. The only reason they did those freaking belts the way they did is because, one, George Kittle created tight end day, and two, George Kittle is like the biggest WWE fan in freaking NFL. But I hate what I'm about to say. This hurts my soul because Jamie knows what I'm going to say because I asked him a start and sit question for a coworker today. And the start and sit in question was because I couldn't give a fair answer because I gave my answer. The start, or it wasn't even a start sit. Coworker, first time ever playing fantasy football, she came up to me and she goes, I got George Kittle on bye week. I need to pick up a tight end. There's 3 that I'm looking at. Adam Troutman, Jonnu Smith, and Mike frickin' Gesicki. Who should I pick up on waivers? Well, you know I told her Gesicki number 1. Jamie said Jonnu number 1. I think Jamie's right. And the reason this hurts me to say is because, not because I'm saying Jamie's right, is because you're 100% right when it comes to the perception of when Higgins is out, he's a target monster. Higgins could be back this week. I think towards the end of the year, you just don't know with him. He can give you tight end 6 numbers. He can give you tight end 14. He can give you tight end 38. And when it comes to the end of the year, we don't need that. So, Jamie, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, if Higgins is out of the lineup, yeah, you might want to go Gesicki, but he was a game time decision. They held him out. So I think he's going to play next week. People were all over Eric All in the beginning of the season, middle of the season. And people were buying them for second-round picks I seen in Dynasty. And I'm like, well, what am I missing here? Like, they don't even use tight ends that often in Cincinnati. So why are we going out and spending second-round picks on Eric All, like a rookie? But Gesicki, no, he hasn't seen more than like 1 target his past 5 games besides this last game when Higgins was out. So I was all over Gesicki in best ball leagues, taking him like one of my last picks. But I want nothing to do with him right now. I'm out.
All right. So before I get into my start or my real or fake, on the trade questions, we'll get into or a couple questions we'll get into a sec. But Tyler, I'm going to bring yours up right now. We'll go the reverse horn. We'll go Reggie, Jordan, Jamie. Who would you start? Would you start Coleman, Downs, or Dell?
Who's going first?
I was going to start Reggie, but I think you need to go first. Go ahead, Jamie.
I do want to start with just saying come back on Sunday morning for our Start Sit show. I'll have more information. But right now, with Dell being the number 1, I haven't looked at his matchup yet. I would.
Oh, guess what? You can't. You can't. Dell plays on Thursday night.
Oh, crap. I mean, like we said, Downs is doing great.
They are playing against Minnesota.
Dell is playing against Sauce.
Oh, then go Downs. Yeah, go Downs. Sit Dell, go Downs.
Yeah, I'm with Jamie on that one. I'm going Downs.
I'm going Downs, then Dell, then Coleman, because Dell moves. And is Sauce going to follow still the whole game? Not really, right?
Shadow about 35 to 37% of the time. Last I looked,
And
but,
Sauce hasn't been really shut down.
well,
Yeah,
Reed
you know
has,
why? Because it's the
Right.
Jets.
yeah.
He hasn't, but Tank
But
Dell
Reed has played well.
yeah,
Reed has
Reed's
played
playing
well.
better than Sauce.
Wow.
So
That's
Yeah.
a clean sweep for downs. I just want to say that real quick.
Yes.
That is a clean sweep for downs. We'll pull one more up, and then we'll do the Joey Boy in a second. We'll pull this one up real quick. Full PPR, pick one. Dubs or McMillan? Concerned about Love. I will let Jordan go first.
okay.
we're all concerned about Love.
Okay.
But if Jordan Love is playing, it's easy, Daz. But with Malik Willis, you got to go. Just take the chance on McMillan.
Reggie.
I think I'm going Dobbs for the red zone threat. I think he had the most red zone targets last year. I know Love is banged up, but it seems like he's the one that's going to probably be the best one to get a touchdown over McMillan.
And Jamie.
Yeah, this year Dobbs alone is wide receiver 20 in red zone targets. I think I told Mike the other day, I was like, if Dobbs puts up numbers this week, I'm going to have to take that out because I was not a Dobbs guy, but he's been pretty solid. And he got 6 targets last week, 72 yards. So he only caught 3 of them. I think he's better than that. So I am on the Dobbs train.
Yeah, but if Jordan Love doesn't play, they might throw the ball 6 times total. So
That's true. Yeah.
so last time they played the Colts, Jacobs had like 32 carries. Like I don't want to deal with a receiver who Malik Willis is throwing to.
That is true. Maybe go find someone else on the waiver if Love is out.
Well, I don't. Yeah, maybe. I mean, on the getting someone else. I mean, the problem is, depending on the league, I don't know if you're going to find much better than one of the two. Is what I'm saying. All right. So for my real or fake player, I am going to go real first. Jordan brought up a certain Jameis Winston earlier in the show. I just want to make sure he was talking about mine. Okay. So. And yes, I did put you on purpose, Jamie. Because I am actually talking about a wide receiver from the Cleveland Browns. I am going with my real. I am going with Cedric Tillman. No, I do not think he's going to finish as wide receiver 3 overall on the week with 25.4 fantasy points every freaking week. That's not why I'm saying he's real. I'm saying he's real because he had 9 targets, 7 receptions. Yes, he had 99 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns. So no, he's not going to get 2 touchdowns every week. The 1 touchdown was a long pass. I don't remember how long it was, Jamie. I just know it was a long bomb. But the reason I do think that he's going to be real is because I do think the target share is going to stay. He had a 22% target share, 9 targets, like I said. As long as that stays, if it goes up or down, depending on the target share percentage is going to stay the same. The market share will stay the same. I think he is going to be now that Amari Cooper is gone, he is the wide receiver to me. He fits Winston the best out of him and Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy. His profile fits what Winston does best, not Jerry Jeudy. Yes, I'm kind of down on Jerry Jeudy anyway. But Cedric Tillman is the guy this year, so I think is going to continue this. I could see him from week 8 on, I could see him being like wide receiver 15 in the league. Jamie, go ahead.
Wow, you said wide receiver 15?
From now on.
Ooh, I was thinking he could possibly be top 24 in that 24-25 range.
15 is I'm saying 15 is the highest.
Yeah, depends on the week, but he does have tough matchups coming up. So you got to pay attention to that. But he has been getting 12 targets one week, 9 targets the next. So I mean, if you give him more than 6 targets a game, you're gonna have to find a way to put him in your lineup with Jameis Winston playing. If he's getting 9 to 12, like he is like a wide receiver 2 flex option. So yeah, he is a real player. He's one of my most owned rookies. I remember drafting him in the 3rd round of almost every single one of my rookie drafts, just because I was so high on him. And then I was like, oh, this ain't working out. So he's still sitting on my taxi squads and all of them. So, but yeah, no, he is a real player. I love him. He's the reason that Jalen Hyatt won that award, that Mackey Award, is because he got hurt that year. Or else I think Tillman probably would have won it.
Reggie.
He said, I love him like he sent some candy on Valentine's Day. I do have to agree that this is a real thing. And you actually called this 3 weeks prior on one of our waiver wire pickups. And I called it out, I think 2 weeks ago that you mentioned it, because you've seen this offense needed something like a heartbeat after this Deshaun Watson her trials. Now they got Winston, they got Chubb back, they got this explosive athlete that is able to walk right into the Cooper's role. We get to see if it's real soon, because the weather's about to change, and we get to see. I can't recall Jameis playing in the cold. Do you know the splits on that, Jordan? I know you got that handy as always, but think about this. This weather's going to change here. Cleveland ain't how many home games they got left, so that's going to be.
You want Jameis in the cold?
Yeah, Jameis in the cold, because that is something about playing in Cleveland that is never ever taken. They get three bad weather games ain't happened yet. They coming.
I have access to that. I can't get it right now, but I can get you the numbers later.
Oh no, good. But yeah, I think it's real, but we go find out once they get a little colder.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So for my fake, and Tyler, I see your question. I'll do it right after I do this. For my fake, wide receiver 9 in week 8 is DeMarcus Robinson. I'm sorry. This is not sustainable. You want to know why wide receiver 9 for DeMarcus Robinson is not sustainable? Or can you already guess? 2 freaking catches. That's why. 2 catches, 35 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's not going to happen with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua getting back in the fray of the offense. There's no way this sustains. I'm sorry. No, thank you. Tutu Atwell, droppable.
Yeah.
Whittington, droppable. DeMarcus Robinson, stash, but droppable in shallow leagues. I don't care what people say. Take it away, Reggie.
Disagree. It don't look like Cup is all the way back. Like, in just a flash, we all seen all these injuries or whatnot. Like, I'm holding on to DeMarcus Robinson. I don't think so there's a wide receiver 3 that's flexible in this offense, has shown us that for the last couple of years. And this is, if DeMarcus Robinson is in the role that he's in as the 3 fiddle or the 2A split with somebody, he can get you that touchdown every other week. He can get you that 80 yards and just that very, very solid floor that he wasn't able quite to produce while they were gone. But yeah, Tutu, I agree, you can cut him. And Winnington, we should have never took him off our taxi.
No, we shouldn't have. Jordan, break the tie.
No, I agree with Reggie, man. I think in this role, it's like perfect for him. When you ask him to do too much is when he disappoints, but when he's kind of being able to that's putting it politely, disappoint.
Yeah, I know firsthand.
But when he's be able to slide where he's comfortable, gets less coverage, and those other 2 guys are the guys drawing most of their attention, he can eat. So I like him for where he is. Obviously, he won't score 2 touchdowns every week, but at the same time, he can get you a touchdown once every few games. And for a wide receiver 3 with the bye weeks still hitting us, I think he can be serviceable.
All right, so right before we get into Jamie's, I want to throw this up. I'm not going to throw the second comment, Tyler. I'll just throw the question. He says, sorry, I'm only asking this because I don't know what to do with Tank Dell. So this is the Tank Dell team. So we already said not to play Tank Dell over Downs, but he does have Tillman on his team. So after he heard us talk about Tillman, his question has changed to Tillman, Coleman, or Downs, pick 2.
Tillman.
So the question is, if Dell is part of this, do you play Dell? So we already said Downs. So do you play Dell over Coleman and Tillman?
So it's Downs for me. Then it's between Tillman and Dell.
Yes.
I'm only sitting Dell's is because the Chargers allow like the least amount of points to wide receivers. I think it was
Jets.
14 points to the outside receivers combined, and then 10 points into the slots. So like 24 points per game to wide receivers. You just got to split that up between Elijah Moore, Judy, and Tillman. So I don't think Tillman's going to get that huge game. He might score 10, 11 at best this week. So I might go Dell just because, even though he's facing Sauce, man, that's tough.
It's a short week. They're going to want to eat. Maybe, Thursday night game.
It
That
has
changes
to be
it
Dell,
too.
man.
Thursday night game without Diggs. Short week without Diggs, without Collins.
Man.
Jesus.
Yeah, that is super freaking tough.
If you don't play Dale, this might be Dale best week of the year because he's the only show in town. What they gonna throw out? Mechie, Hushichin, who else do they got? Toss some names out there. Think about it.
I swear again. Read the show sheet.
I did. It was a question mark. It was a question mark. And the last one, I did it again.
It's like I want to say Tank just because, like you said, it's the only show in town. But I feel like, do you ride the hot hand with Tillman? I don't know.
Well, they're Chargers.
Jamie's looking at something.
Chargers are the best in the league, number 1 versus wide receivers.
But is that because they're so good, or is it because they just control the clock so much, and it's like you don't really have a lot of opportunities?
That is true, but then you got to look at it. It's the Browns. Can you trust the Browns?
We're asking the Browns fan.
Yeah, I don't trust Browns. I've never trusted them in 20 years.
Sorry, fellas. We stayed on this question too long. Y'all got me. But yeah, the Chargers tricked you to play their game, right?
Right.
Slow it down. You go play like us, right?
Well,
Yeah.
All right. Well, if that's the case,
last week against the Jets that blew up at wide receiver.
what?
Yeah, who did the Jets play last week?
They played the Patriots.
Was it last week or then the week before? Some
George Pickens?
Was it Pickens?
Yes.
So Pickens went off against the Jets?
Pickens had 5 for 111 and a touchdown.
By itself.
Tyler, Cleveland is playing the Browns. That's why we're bringing up the Chargers. Cleveland is playing the Chargers. That's why we're bringing it up. All right. So speaking of Jamie and his team, he also has something else he needs to bring up because he has a problem. And that problem is called Dynasty.
Oh.
So, Jamie, why don't you give us your buy and sell players and start with your buy, sir?
Yeah, so my buy, this is even for redraft, kind of in a way, but I'm going out and I'm buying Roma Dunze. Like, this is the buy of all buys right now. Last week, like, you see his box score, it ain't anything. He had 3 catches for something, but he led the team in receptions that week. He had a 27% target share. Then you go back to like week 3, he had 25 fantasy points on 11 targets, and he was the wide receiver 7 that week. So, you see a ceiling, but he hasn't hit 10 points besides that 1 week all year long. Whoever has a Dunze on their team, they're not starting him in dynasty or redraft. They're sitting on his bench, so go out and put an offer out for him. Like, you can't get him cheaper than you can right now. He also has that contingent upside. Like, what if DJ Moore gets hurt? What if Keenan Allen gets hurt? Then you see, like, he's already seeing the most target shares, like 2 out of the past 3 weeks. So if one of those goes down, his target share is just going to go up. And like we all know, rookie receivers, they always perform better on the second half of the year, right? So if you look at a schedule for matchups, all great matchups through week 17. That's our championship. It's the second best matchup for wide receivers the whole year. So if you could acquire them now, like just pause this podcast, go throw out some offers, and then come back and tell us what you did.
Jordan, what is your opinion on Odunze real quick? Because he's making me laugh on the inside too.
Yeah. So I'm not in redraft. I'm not looking to get him, but obviously in dynasty, he's definitely a buy as he continues to grow with Caleb. As far as redraft purposes, I'm iffy on the Bears, man. I thought they had a prime matchup. I guess Washington's defense is better than we all anticipated. I'm not dying to go get anybody really from the Bears offense right now in redraft.
Well, the Bears defense did good for 59 minutes and 54 seconds.
I'm not looking to get anybody from their offense. So, but for dynasty, definitely, if you can get them, people are upset or anticipated he would be better right now. Try to pluck him away.
Reggie, real quick, what do you think about Odunze? I know you're a dynasty head.
I'm not really prepared or putting myself in a position to buy him because I can't afford him right now, and he's not going to help my teams. I would put him on, and I'm holding if I have him.
All right. So, Jamie, this is the player that I need to discuss after you're done. So take it away, and then I will pull up the question after.
Yeah, so Cortland Sutton, man, I'm selling him every single league that I have him in. This is his first game of the season where he had 100 yards. His best finish he only had 17 points, right? Is that what it was? I don't have it offhand, but I'm pretty sure it was around 17 points. And like, if that's his best finish all year, like I looked up his stats. He's top 15 in targets, top 10 in yards, and top 10 in deep targets, and top 10 in red zone targets. But he's wide receiver 48. It doesn't make sense. Like, he's getting all these targets, and it's not adding up. So, like, if I were you, I would take advantage of this 100-yard game, go out and sell him. I already knew he was going to have a good matchup this week. He faced Michael Jackson, who allowed the 6th most fantasy points per route run and the 11th most receptions in the league. So what did I tell you last week, Mike? I was like, just wait until after this week.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
So that's pretty much it. Like, it's just the targets that he's getting doesn't match up with his production. And I don't like it. So take advantage of this big week that he had.
So I'm going to bring up this question before I bring up mine. Where's it at? All right, Joey boy, I finally got to it. So he just traded Pollard, Hunt, and Leggett for Bijan and Sutton. So it sounds like he's on the Bijan and Sutton side.
Yeah.
Good trade.
I would have done that just for Bijan alone.
Yeah.
So great trade.
Reg?
Yeah.
Pollard, Hunt, Leggett. It's like Pollard for Bijan. What is this redraft?
It was kind of like a lateral move.
Yeah.
It better be redraft.
Okay, right.
This is definitely redraft.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to leave this up for a second, not because I want to bring his trade up, but Jordan, the names that were involved in this whole trade scenario that Reggie and Jamie know about were Kirk Cousins, Tony Pollard, Kareem Hunt, and Cortland Sutton. Those were all part of the guys that I was offloading.
Mm.
I was offloading a couple other guys too. So Jamie, you were right what you were saying about Sutton this, Sutton that, you should wait, blah, blah, blah. Then our other compadre down on the bottom was telling me, oh, get rid of him, but if you can, do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. The guy that I was trying to trade with needed a wide receiver for this weekend. So I made the deal. Neither one of you, I don't think I told you what it was, Reg. So I made the deal. Originally, he wanted to give me some whack-ass picks from 2026 that were super deep, and I was telling him no. I traded away Cortland Sutton for a 25-3 and Andre Ishovas. That's what I ended up getting. I also traded away in a deal that came out of nowhere because of the Kirk Cousins deal fell through. The original Kirk Cousins deal through. And I don't remember if I told you this, Jamie, or not. But I already know you're going to think I won. I got a mid-second straight up for Kareem Hunt.
Yes. Yeah, we talked about Hunt, and I was like, yeah, any second, get rid of him.
I got a mid-second for Kareem Hunt straight up.
Awesome.
So, yes, go sell Sutton. Reggie, what do you think about Sutton on the sell side?
I'm a little torn because what he still produces, he's still a number one wide receiver in that offense. And I just touted on Bo Nix. So I can't be I got to double down, and I'm not going to get anything for Cortland Sutton. And I keep asking myself in my leagues, who would I rather have? Calvin Ridley or Cortland Sutton? Not on the show sheet, I'll check. But yeah, throw that around. Who would you rather have? They both stink, but who's more valuable?
Who? Cortland Sutton or who?
Calvin Ridley.
Well, I'm trying to trade the other one too. They're both on my team.
Right. I'm having this internal conversation because I woke up the other morning and somebody just woke up. Give me a third for Hunter Henry. Give me a third for Calvin Ridley. And I jumped on the Hunter Henry. I couldn't even press fast enough for the Ridley for a third. And then I rolled over, went into another league. Give me a third for Ridley. Instantly, somebody sent me an offer. I was like, never mind. I'm not about that life. I need more than a third. He screenshotted it like, liar. I was like, sorry, I'm not built for that.
All right, Jordan. Take it away with your randomness of the week.
Oh, yeah. So, 8 weeks into the season, I just wanted to kind of just do a quick snapshot of the top fives at each position, just to see how, our expectations before the season, and then compared to reality right now. So just go through it really quickly. Top five at quarterback. This is as far as points per game. We got Lamar number 1, 25.5. Baker, like we talked about, 24.2. Jalen Hurts, 21.6. Jaden Daniels, and then Josh Allen. That's the top five at quarterback. Anybody surprised by any of these guys? I guess Jaden Daniels would be the biggest surprise. Well, Baker and Jaden Daniels would be the two surprises in that group.
Yes.
For you guys. All right, moving forward. We could talk about it overall at the end. Running back wise, we're looking at Derrick Henry at 1, Alvin Kamara, Saquon, no, got it incorrectly right there. My bad. Joe Mixon, number 1, Derrick Henry, Saquon, Kamara, and then Kenneth Walker as the top 5 at running back. At receiver, we had Nico Collins is 1, AJ Brown, Chase, Godwin, and Jefferson. Notable guys, Malik Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb are at 6 and 7. Lastly, for tight end, number 1 is Kittle, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, Njoku, and then Kyle Pitts, Tucker Kraft, and Kelsey are all tied at 5. So out of all those lists, I guess some of the ones that kind of surprised me was at quarterback, Baker and Jaden, running back. Joe Mixon being number 1 is a surprise. As much as I've touted him, I didn't think he would finish. Well, he's not finished, but I didn't think he would be more than halfway through the season number 1 in points per game. And then also,
is this half PPR or full?
It's full.
Cool.
And then receiver wise, just Chris Godwin, man. I was somebody else I was high on, but I didn't think he would be top 5 in points per game as well at that position. Obviously, the season's over, but he far exceeded my expectations for him. So, any of these names that stand out to you guys?
Jamie, you go first.
So I don't mean to toot my own horn, but Kenneth Walker at 5. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Didn't I say Kenneth Walker at 5?
You do mean to toot your own horn, but it's okay.
Hold on. Before you go any further, can you tell me where Kyron's at?
Yeah, number 6. I was just about to say, I got to give props to Kyron, though.
Yeah, number 6.
Yeah, number 6. Alvin Kamara, he's going to start going down. We talked about it, last week or the week before when I said to sell him. He's got that broken hand. He was number 1. He's just going to keep climbing down, so don't look at him as a top 5. Did you say Otten was a top 5?
No, it is Kittle, Bowers, McBride, Njoku, Pitts, Kraft, and Kelsey.
Kraft, man, dude, Kraft is insane. Who would have thought coming into this year that you're like, oh, Kraft is a top 5 tight end? Nobody would have thought that. So got to give props to him, man. I sold him in Dynasty a few weeks ago. I think I sold him too low. I should have probably just held on to him. I think I sold him for Andrew straight up.
I thought Luke Musgrave would be better than him.
I knew it was going to be one of them, and I thought because of that injury in late December, January, that Musgrave was going to be the one. I knew one of them tight ends was going to be productive.
Jamie asked us a question.
The biggest thing that stood out to me is back in drafting season, how many times I ended up in a spot where I could have took ETN, and I'm glad I passed up, and how many times I got to Kenneth Walker and it just felt gross, and glad the times I just clicked it. I wish I clicked it more because nobody wanted him. Yep. Nobody wanted him.
The wide receivers to me are chalk, except for I thought Nico was going to be in the top 5, but not number uno.
Yes.
I thought he was going to be top. I thought he was going to be up there. I just didn't think he'd be there. Quarterbacks obviously are the 2 that you already brought up. I'm looking at fantasy points, and there's full PPR has Kyron right with what's his name. I am not like Jamie. Where the disrespect that it's all a joke, but the disrespect that Jamie's been throwing on Kyron forever. I didn't think he'd still be number 5. I thought he would be in the top 12, but I didn't think he'd be number 5. So good for him.
Well, it's only half the year, man. Corum could be up top 5 rest of the season.
Oh,
you don't believe
I'm done. I'm going to put you on mute in a second. All right, so this is a redraft trade before we get into Reggie's. Okay. So, Reggie, instead of your quote of the week, we're going to use trades of the week for Reggie, and they're all in the chat. All right. Because I know Reggie's anyway. This is redraft Reg. So, on everyone, what I'm going to bring up, I'll have you go first. On this first one, I'll have you go, Jamie. On the second one, I'll have Jordan go as the talk through. This is redraft Jordan or Reggie. Traded Adams, Swift, and Kincaid and JSN for Tyreek and Pitts. Did I win or lose? Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
And redraft?
Redraft.
Yes.
Adam, Swift, Kincaid side for me.
Yeah, he got JSN as well, so he lost.
Oh, and JSN for Tyreek and Pitts. Yes, I want that side.
I'm going to
wow, nice.
No, he lost that. He gave up those.
He gave up.
Oh, yes, lost. I would say lose. Tyreek Pitts, this one good week,
He's had
and
a
if
couple.
you,
He's had a couple good
Come
weeks.
on, man.
But if
Pitts
you-
has been awesome the past 3 weeks. And he's going to be good the rest of the year.
on low volume, they're not feeding him enough. It's a split pie. I think Kincaid. I guess he's better than Kincaid, but I don't know. I like other pieces. I like the depth.
I mean,
Jimmy, I already know.
Let's say you have Kincaid and Pitts, a wash, right? I'd rather have Tyreek Hill over JSN and Swift.
And Adams.
And Adams.
You got to look at he's got Brees Hall, Montgomery, and A-Chain. So he's not even playing Swift.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill is 100% upgrade. People were drafting him in the top 5, right? And now he's got Tua back.
We truly don't know who he's playing and not, because in this situation we don't know how many flex he's playing. We don't know the roster construction completely. I understand the chances of him playing are, but I mean, I got leagues where I'm playing. You just don't know. I agree that it's probably not. Okay, so for the next one,
JSN, not really.
I am. I played him over you. You told me to play JSN over MHJ
because of the matchup, but that didn't work out too well. So, for me.
All right. So Jesse asked this question, and I'm assuming this is also traded. Yeah, traded Tillman and Ridley for Tracy and Bigsby.
No.
Jordan knows why I said it the way I did. So, Reggie, he traded away Tillman and Ridley and got Tracy and Bigsby.
I don't know how I can say I like the Tillman Ridley side better, but we got this concussion, air quotes, for Tracy coming up, so you might not be able to play him this week. And Takes Bisbee is going to be, we talked about it last week, I'm sure. Game scripted out, tough opponents, don't catch balls.
Yep.
All right, so I got to bring this up. We're going to skip the rest of this one because I have to bring this up because I think this could be a clean sweep. Somebody has offered me Kenneth Walker for Alvin Kamara. Give me KW9.
Yes.
Except
100%.
now.
Give me KW9 over Kamara straight up all day long.
We just talked about Kamara going down and Walker going up, and they were both top 5.
All right, Blue Jays, I'm going to throw yours up because I know you from other shows too, and we're going to throw yours up now. Looking to make a 2-for-1 wide receiver upgrade. I have Kupp, DJ Moore, Reed, Jacoby Myers, and Coleman. What tier of wide receiver you think I can get for Reed plus Coleman? Could I get DK, BTJ? Any ideas?
Well, you don't want BTJ. He's hurt. DK's hurt too.
DK is more likely to play this week than BTJ.
Yeah, I was going to say I would go DK.
And if they were healthy, you probably couldn't get them for that anyway, right?
I would rather have Reed over DK, kind of.
I don't think there's –
now that Willis – because Willis is going to be quarterback.
That's why. Right? But the question is, let me ask you this, Jordan. Being the Packer fan, do you think they're going to – do you think they would still – is Reed going to be able to – I think Reed's the one wide receiver that could sustain it with Willis because they will try to manufacture the production like they do with Debo.
Yeah, and you saw it a little bit in the 2 games. He had some reverses, the quick outs, the stuff like that. They manufacture the touches for him. So he is the one receiver that I wouldn't, for the Packers, that I wouldn't mind playing still with Willis. It just won't be the same upside. But if you can package him for somebody better, I don't know what that would look like. But yeah, I would definitely try to ship Coleman off with someone else, maybe Jacoby Myers and Coleman, see what you can get because they're both coming off of some good games. So.
For sure. Any more fees than that? All right. No. So it is time for a certain part of the show. Let me sit up.
This is the best part of the show.
Okay, Jamie, it's time for Mike's rant of the week. But going into this season, will you tell me one of the quarterbacks and one of the players that I was high on more than a lot of people, and I took my dear time and effort and long nights to write a long article about?
Yeah, that was Anthony Richardson. And you weren't alone on this either.
I was not alone, but I have one thing. Tap me out, coach! Tap me out, coach! All right, here we go. Anthony Richardson, you do not play running back. You do not play wide receiver. You do not play tight end. You are a quarterback in the NFL. You're a professional quarterback. I don't care if it's a long play or not. You do not pull yourself out of the game. It was third freaking down. It wasn't second down, up by 20. I mean, you only freaking completed 2 passes in the goddamn first half. You noodle arm freaking quarterback from Florida. You're really upsetting me now. Okay? So I was planning on having this nice rant about you still have hope as the quarterback of freaking Indianapolis. You have a learning moment. You're the 4th overall pick. They're going to give you leeway because you're the overall pick. And then this morning I get an alert on my goddamn phone. Joe, I had already put you on the dang list or on the sheet. Joe Flacco, you can't even beat out a guy who's 8 days younger than your own mother? Joe Flacco is better for this team than the number 4 overall pick in the NFL draft? Are you kidding me? Joe Flacco. I am done. I am upset, and this pisses me off because my Anthony Richardson shares have gone to poop, and I can't even trade him anymore. Does anyone have anything to say? Because I'm done.
Wheels up for the receivers.
I'm glad I wore my vest. Mom's out here catching strays.
Wheels up for the receivers. That's
Wheels up for Anthony Richardson's mother. Dude.
Well, you guys heard the quote the first week that Flacco played.
Yeah, he said
He goes,
that.
I'm not cool. I'm 8 days older than his mom.
Yeah, I remember that.
But the thing is, like, he tapped out. He only ran like 45 yards that game, right?
He did flick of the wrist a 300-pound defensive lineman out his way, though. That had to take a little gumption out of him. The guy he pushed was a big boy.
Is that why he was 2 for 15 in the first half? It's because he hurt his hand freaking knocking off the freaking lineman?
You cannot tap out getting back to the line of scrimmage. I'm sorry. If it was a first down, we might allow it. No lies.
Do you guys remember a game? Was it a Super Bowl or a playoff game? But it was McNabb, and that dude was like running for his life just to try to get to the line of scrimmage, like throwing up on the sideline.
That was the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yeah, like he wouldn't want to come out of the game because he's a real football player. So what the heck are you doing, Anthony Richardson? Stay in there, do your job. You're getting paid to do it. Stop being a little baby.
So I will say this though, I think if he would have stayed in, gassed, and committed a sloppy turnover, we would have jumped on him. So I mean, I guess for the sake of
more than that.
But when do we ever see a quarterback tap out?
No, true.
Lamar does this. Lamar runs that far 3 times a game.
We all seen Doug Flutie run 5 miles on a 3rd and 14, and his tail ain't never tapped out. We used to see Doug Flutie do that crap before.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie. It is time for the cheat of the week. But before we get into the cheat of the week, we got to pay some bills.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, everyone. This show is sponsored, like every other show, by Underdog Fantasy. Go use our promo code GF2 in all caps and get up to right now $1,000 in bonus cash. They have best ball during the offseason, best ball during this season. They have pick'ems, higher and lowers for every major sport. Go GF2 and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And Jamie, why don't you start it off with the cheat of the week while I sulk because the freaking Yankees just hit another home run.
Oh man. Okay, so real quick, if you need a tight end streamer this week, go with Will Disley. Disley, he's been pretty solid when Gerald Everett's out. He had like a 5-target game, 11-target game, and a 7-target game the past 3 weeks. So if you're hurting at tight end, go get him. But one guy I really want to talk about is Parker Washington, because we have Christian Kirk out, right? We have Brian Thomas Jr. He's going to miss at least 2 games. Gabe Davis went out of the game. So who is the next man up? It's going to be Parker Washington. Last year, he played 75% of his snaps in the slot, right? This year, he's been playing most of his snaps on the outside, so they can move him all over the field. If BTJ or Gabe Davis is out, he's just going to be a replacement for him. With Christian Kirk out, he is going to get a lot of the slot role. So that dude is a quarterback's best friend. I believe I said this on this show 2 years ago when he was drafted, before he was drafted. That dude is a quarterback's best friend. You just throw the ball up to him. He's going to catch it. He doesn't get those yards after the catch, but he is going to get targets, and he's going to catch the ball.
All right, so we're just going to go one person on these. I'm going to throw it to you, Reg, for obvious reasons. Go ahead and talk about Parker Washington.
I'm gonna go with. Oh no.
I'm just telling you to comment on his.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like Parker Washington. He showed us some explosion with the kickoff return game. I think he's still returning kicks. So if you got kick return points, go ahead with Parker Washington. But I gave up Parker Washington earlier for my next one. When we go right on into it.
We'll do Jordan and then we'll go.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I got 2 real quick. Ricky Pearsall, obviously, the 49ers are on a bye this week, but you can scoop him up if you have room for him. Debo's banged up again, no surprise there. Obviously, Jawan Jennings missed last week. So the passing game is hurt. I mean, you saw they got him more involved this past week against the Cowboys. He had a rush for 39 yards as well. So they're finding ways to get him the ball. Just pick him up, an offense that's gonna throw the ball, gonna be effective when they do, just to kind of stash him if you can. And then another guy I wanted to just bring up real quick, shout out to Reggie. He talked about this guy a few weeks ago. Jalen Coker, the Deontay Johnson trade kind of opens up more opportunities. I know Adam Thielen, his window was open last week. He didn't play, so obviously it's a possibility he returns. But I still think there's going to be opportunities for Coker. He's made the most of them so far. This past week with Bryce, I think he had 7 catches or something like that. So he was productive. I think he'll continue to get his opportunities with this team. Seems like Thielen will be out of place at this point when you have Leggett, Jatavian Sanders, and then Coker. Is like, why use the old guy? We're not going to be winning. So it's possible he gets phased out one way or another, but yeah, pick up Coker if you can as well.
Jamie, what do you think about Coker with Andy Dalton? I mean, with Bryce Young.
Man, it's hard to trust him, but like he said, he's getting those targets. So Deontay Johnson wasn't getting the targets with Young, but if Coker's getting them, I mean, you got to follow the targets. So yeah, if it's a spot start that you need them in your deep league flex, I'd go after him.
Absolutely.
And I believe Coker actually had some good performances under Dalton as well. And is Dalton coming back? Is Young staying?
Young is staying for now, yeah.
Okay, well, Coker also is running ahead of Leggett as far as snap percentage and routes ran. But Leggett was a little banged up as well. But Coker's getting more tick than Leggett.
I think Leggett's going to get more red zone where Coker might just get the more overall, 20 to 20. And then once you get into Leggett's size. Reggie, why don't you take it away with yours?
My next one is because a swing and miss last week. I was able in multiple leagues to grab Shepard and grab I had a lot of Trey Palmer on my roster, so I was just getting a 2-for-1 and hoping that one of them was hit. So I'm just pivoting this week for the person that's still on waivers, Raheem Jarrett with some some Baker Mayfield magic. He's going to take over that outside role. He if he can stay healthy, he has flashed in the past. So I'm just rolling the dice again. We hit on Tillman, we hit on Coker. Stick around, you get some good gems here.
Jordan, why don't you talk about
Jared.
Yeah,
Jared, the Baker Mayfield magic is real. Jared had 3 targets, but he also was second on the team in receiving yards. So you never know. Like I said earlier, Baker did it with the tight end and the running backs mostly, but Jared was the receiver that had the most yards. McMillan had 7 targets, so it's going to be a toss up. But why not take a gamble on a team that's going to throw the ball a lot?
Yeah, honestly, I would take a shot on Jarrett this week just because McMillan, if he plays, he's going to get the McDuffie treatment. So someone's going to need to catch passes on the outside. So, yeah.
All right. So I got a couple to bring up really quick. One, John Mechie, still coming a little bit, coming back from everything going on. He's probably going to get some of the targets because of everyone being out. Reggie brought up Xavier Hutchinson. I would keep an eye on Hutchinson. Mechie would be the one that if you had to go pick one of them up, Mechie would be the one that I would go pick up with the type of player that Diggs was. I think Mechie's going to slide into that role because once Collins does get back, I think he'll push Hutchinson out where Mechie will still be involved. The other 2 players' names that I want to bring up real quick, and it's not because I really want to bring them up as my waiver ads, but we know for redraft sometimes we got to look at certain things, and like we brought up a couple times, I brought this up to Jamie. Jamie heard it in the pod. I saw it in an article, so I looked it up on Yahoo, and it's just 2 numbers that surprised me. One in Yahoo, so I'm thinking redraft, not degenerates like us, but for the casual people that happen to come across our pod, Keon Coleman is only 41% owned in Yahoo redraft, which kind of surprises me. But here's the one that really surprises me. He's been brought up multiple times on this show in the past 3 weeks and tonight. And he is a Cleveland Brown. How in the heck is Cedric Tillman only 21% owned in redraft? Still boggles my mind. No. So if Cedric Tillman is on your waiver wire, go pick him up. That's all I'm going to say. Go pick him up. That's all you got to know. There's 2 teams on bye this week, the 49ers and the Steelers. So look for those guys. You might have to get a streamer here and there for wide receiver, for quarterback, depending on your situation. But tonight has been a great show. Throw it around the horn, and we'll get out of here. Reggie.
Thanks, everybody. I had a good time today. I had to go check myself on ESPN to see if Keon Coleman was available. He's already taken, but you got to go check. Check your leagues out and find us here, same time, same place next week.
Yep, same thing. Get the waivers set. Go check, peruse, scour the waiver wire. Make sure you get those gems, and I'll catch you guys. We can talk about it next week.
Jamie. Yeah, find us here every Tuesday night. I'm also doing the Sunday Morning Star Sit Show, and then look for my article coming out every Friday at Fantasy Six Pack. It's the wide receiver versus cornerback.
All right, drop the mic, FF. You know where to find me. You'll see my graphics coming up. I did my Sunday standouts and all that jazz. For Reggie, for Jordan, and Jamie, I am Mike.